Welcome everybody to the last game of the night. Union Gaming versus Pain. Game number 2. We just come off a win for Pain Gaming after they was very interesting smashing of team fights for the first 20 minutes and then like 20 minutes of farm where they separated. Eventually Pain Gaming, just due to the fact they had better late game, were able to overcome Union Gaming. So jumping into game 2, welcoming my co-caster Nahaz to see what he thinks about this first 1-2 of Union Gaming, who have picked up Death Prophet and a Pugna.
I like it a lot. I mean, they're going right back to what won them the game against Navi US. So in that game, they ran a Pugna and a Prophet. They ran Pugna and Nature's Prophet. In this game, they're going to run Pugna and Death Prophet. But in that respect, much the same kind of an idea, going to be an extremely aggressive mid-game push coming out here from Union Gaming. You will see Ben Haas on that Pugna. You will almost certainly see it in a tri-lane. Pain Gaming should know exactly what is coming. I do think because of that, this will almost certainly be a one-position Centaur War Runner, although certainly they have a lot of flexibility in that regard. But Pain really, with their last 3 picks in the draft and in the first 15 minutes of the game, are going to have to constantly be thinking, what are we going to do when that push starts rolling through?
It's one position Centaur. Nahaz calling it out really early. It's like, one position Centaur, laying it down. If your prediction's actually right, that's going to be legit as hell. By the way.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's what you do, right?
Against these push squads, you have to go really aggressive. It makes sense, right?
Yes.
And you can't afford, like, a Centaur a War Runner, when you run him as the off lane, he takes time. He takes time because he doesn't have any other recovery. He can't go into the jungle and farm up his Blink Dagger from there. He has to make the off lane work. And if your supports are doing a good enough job on the side of Union Gaming, he won't be able to pick up a Blink Dagger until like 15 minutes in, at the very minimum. And that's probably too late. Death Prophet and Pugna are already ready to go, taking down probably all your tier 1s by that time and possibly some tier 2s in the process.
Right, and at the same time, I mean, there's just so much value. This Centaur War Runner, if he gets up a 10-minute Blink Dagger, I mean, he blinks in on Pugna, and Pugna's dead. I mean, that's a lot of burst damage that he can deliver, and a lot of it is magical. So, okay, go ahead, decrepify yourself, big boy. See what happens, right? I mean, I feel like that's just a great, and I like the Earthshaker pickup here. I really do. I think Earthshaker is a great pickup against these kind of push lineups, again against the Pugna, and boy, the hits just keep on coming. This is one of the things I think as Pain Gaming, they banned the Nature's Prophet. That's hard to argue with. They banned the Tidehunter. I would have liked to see a Rasta ban coming out from them. You know what you're going to be up against here. Union Gaming has all of their cards on the table right now, and to me, you've got to think very, very hard if you're willing to give them another dedicated push hero like that, because I don't see both Zindrils and Jericho have had good games on Shadow Shaman in the past. I do not see them having 2 subpar games on that hero in a row.
Yeah, I'm pretty concerned that they gave up that Shadow Shaman as well. I mean, the bans that they went for make sense. Like, okay, the Tidehunter gives you a lot of good AoE team fight, and I've repeatedly said that I really love to see the Tidehunter being run with the Death Prophet. I think it's one of the best AoE disables to be run in that regard. And then the Furion extra pushing, really, really early pushing power. I think those 2 bans make sense, but they still give up the Shadow Shaman support, which both like supports that are available, supports that give you pushing power, there's really only one that is truly like game defining, which is the Shadow Shaman.
Right, and I for all it's worth too, I really like the Vengeful Spirit on the Dire side in this match for them too, and I am not sure what to think about the Ember Spirit pick.
I like the Ember. I'll be honest, I like the Ember. Union Gaming have a very squishy lineup, and they do need something that, like you said, you have to be aggressive, right? Well, what better hero to really snowball? Ember Spirit is a brawler through and through in the first 20 minutes of the game. He can turn, he can fight, he can go up against these heroes very early on, thanks to his high amount of magic damage he's able to absorb through Flame Guard, and if he's able to do well, he can really easily snowball and get out of control.
Fair enough. My concern here, though, is I feel like he gets roundly outlaned by the Death Prophet without at least a little bit of help. And I worry then, I mean, you're right. Ember Spirit's a hero that if he gets those phase and drums up, that's all he needs for a while. I mean, obviously, yeah, we tend to focus on talking about late game and the multiple Battle Furies and the Daedalus and whatever, possibly even a Rapier if you're Ferrari and you're totally crazy. But, you know, he could do a lot with that phase and drums, but at the same time, he is very vulnerable in the laning matchup against Death Prophet, and he also really hates that Death Prophet silence throughout the game. That even in the late game can create problems for him. So to me, that Ember really needs to have a great laning phase. 40R better be awfully confident on that hero mid against the DP.
Well, that's why I want to see some heavy rotations from these two supports.
Yes.
They do have really good supports to be rotating. Skywrath Mage and Earthshaker, both really good. And with the Ember Spirit mid, you're also able to get a lot of, like, he's a pretty aggressive mid hero. So if you have that kind of setup stun to be able to close the distance, follow that up with the chains, your supports get close enough to lane some auto attacks. I think they've got a good shot, but you could easily see how Union Gaming, if the laning phase does not go well for Pain, the game's over, I would say. Just from that, just because there's so much pushing power that if the laning phase goes well for Union, they start taking towers. Pain can't do anything about it. They don't have any split push possibilities. They just have all mid-game team fight, and it's hard to fight into a very obvious gold advantage.
Exactly. Now, so it looks like my one position centaur call might have been wrong. The Mirana here looks like she is probably going to be the one position in a tri lane. One thing I'll say there, though, another reason that I don't like the Tide ban is I would have liked to have that Tide on the table myself for that 5th pick. Because I think that off-lane Tide, even on the Radiant side, which is not generally the best idea, I think that off-lane Tide would have made a lot of sense. And here is exactly what I was expecting from Union Gaming. They're going to finish off with Angel's Bristleback. And we've talked about this Death Prophet Bristleback combination. You get any kind of minus armor for them, and Vengeful Spirit is a natural healer to rush a medallion on, particularly on the dire side. The amount of sustained physical damage that can come out from this duo is just huge. This Ember Spirit's mobility is going to be very important, but boy, oh boy, I feel like the pressure is on Pain Gaming. If they lose the laning phase into this match, I think they're going to end up getting swept off the map.
Yeah, I think Bristleback was the perfect offlaner here for Union Gaming. What do you think about the chance of Pain Gaming run an aggro try, though, with the Mirana, Skywrath Mage, Earthshaker?
10 seconds remaining.
Boy, I think it's risky, but I would seriously consider it. I mean, if they were dire, I would say aggro try all day, every day, YOLO, no question about it. Because they're the Radiant side, I think they have a lot of options here in the laning phase. The Centaur can do just fine in the off lane as Radiant. I don't think you necessarily have to go aggro try. You're going to get the gold advantage if the laning phase is static, generally as the Radiant team. That said, I think if you can do it and you feel like you can win it, it's a huge advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. What do you think? The try v try though against a Pugna, Vengeful Spirit, and Shadow Shaman, boy, that worries me. I mean, a lot of pressure is on Baga's Earthshaker. Who, look, Baga delivered on his Rubik in the last match, but that puts a lot of pressure on the Earthshaker to hit those perfect fissures.
Concussive shot plus the arrow, not going to be able to catch out Xander. He actually went a little bit farther up than they expected. Stun's going to go down on Ned, and they're going to try and turn this around a little bit, but a Fissure block will be enough to secure it. And it looks like they, I would hazard a guess, they are just running this to see if they could get a pickoff. And no, they're running a full aggro try.
Okay.
I would have been fine either way just because the supports are really good roaming supports, so I don't feel it's too necessary. What if they actually run an aggro try for the first few minutes, get Mirana to like level 3, and then they can rotate these supports out and just have them almost full-time roaming, because Mirana is one of those few supports or few carries who can actually go and be left alone in the off lane as soon as you have some sort of levels to your name.
I mean, I think that that's a decent plan. The problem is you've got to have contingencies when you do something like that, because that plan, you are more than likely going to have action going on here at levels 1 or 2 in this kind of a tri-lane setup. Both of these trios are going to be looking to take fights and make fights happen against the others. So you better have a backup plan. If you lose that first fight or two up here, what are you going to do? It's all well and good to say, yeah, we're going to do that, but that assumes that you're going to win.
Illusion Rune is a great way to start this fight if they can actually land an arrow. Baga is going to throw down the Fissure, hits Xander. Arrow sneaks right past everybody there. And King RD already off to kind of a not the greatest start here with this Mirana, as that really could have been a good initiation for them. But they need to find an opening on one of the squishier heroes, which would be either the Pugna or the Shadowed Shaman, not necessarily the Vengeful Spirit, who is squishy early on, but does have a higher amount of armor to be able to deal with.
Now, nice idea here by Ned. Going to rotate mid to help out the Ember Spirit against the Death Prophet. This would be a gargantuan kill. They're not going to be able to get it, but I don't mind that at all. I think that early rotation is, if anything, a little bit more safe and stable a strategy.
Yeah, just put the Citadel a little bit farther back and put some pressure on him. My favorite part there was, really, I think it shows the true weakness of Ember Spirit at level 1 and 2, which he plopped the Flame Guard, immediately Death Prophet went ahead and Crypt Swarmed him, and there went that Flame Guard. So there goes all the damage over time. People forget if you lay a large amount of magic damage into that Flame Guard, like it isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you take away the damage over time, so levels 1 and even 2 to some extent.
Oh, Jericho catches an arrow here on top of the Shadow Shaman. This may be first blood.
Yeah, they're going to try for it. They don't actually have enough nuking damage solely because of the fact that Ned is not quite level 2 and doesn't have that Arcane Bolt to contribute to that. They desperately need that extra bit of damage, as it's obvious the Earthshaker can't really do much past just throwing down a Fissure. And on top of that, if they don't have that level 2, Decrepify can actually be a pretty good saving mechanism during these last couple of seconds of that engagement. It's all physical damage, right? From the two supports laying it in. So unless you have that Arcane Pull to add in, then that Decrepify actually proves to be a pretty significant saving factor.
Yeah, and little things, man. I'm continually amazed how much these little things can impact a game. That rotation mid may have ended up costing that kill.
Ned is going to be caught out here. The Decrepify goes out. Stunning up Jericho is probably the best thing they can possibly do at this point. He can go ahead and stun up Jericho, but he's just going to right-click him down. The arrow actually already threw out. Not quite enough damage to be able to finish off Jericho. Meanwhile, the blast will get the Skywrath Mage. Now King RD is getting low enough that his wand is going to be forced to use to save him. And I think so much of that is going to be put on the hands of King RD, who used the arrow a little bit too late or a little bit too early. It depends on which one. Like, the Shackles was fine. Baga would survive there in that situation, so we didn't necessarily have to immediately interrupt it. So if he held onto it and waited until the Rasta tried to get away, he would have gotten the first blood. Or he immediately stops that Shackle to free up the Earthshaker to lay in some right-click damage.
Yeah, either way, though, that first blood, and Jericho going to deny himself the neutrals here to get the free ride back to base. But that first blood was brought to you by Jericho's Magic Stick. Because I was wondering, when he went that far forward to latch the Shackles onto the Earthshaker, I'm saying to myself, what is he doing? He's going to kill himself here. King RD's just going to right-click him to death. But he had just enough, just a couple of stick charges to keep him alive there.
Fissure block. Oh, no. They may still be able to burn out Citadel. It's going to be close. Last couple of right-clicks. Invis, Arcane Bolt, Bottle. Citadel lives, 35 health. The Bottle is what does it for him. And that was very, very scary, but solely because of the Fissure block is the only reason he survived there.
Yeah, but you've got to have that, though. I mean, this is what we were talking about in the draft, that if you're going to go ahead and commit to this Ember Spirit against a very push-heavy lineup, against what you know is going to be a Death Prophet mid, you've got to try and help him out. And to me, you know, obviously you want to get kills when you commit rotations like that, but that's a win, okay? You force the Death Prophet back to the base. You give that Ember Spirit a little time to get some CS and levels there.
Yeah, and King RD, meanwhile, is able to survive through any attempts at ganking him because the Shadow Shaman is slow, and the Magic Missile is destroying it by that leap. So they really should have gotten a kill there on the Death Prophet, but it's just a failure of execution, not necessarily the wrong idea by them. Now, this idea of them rotating down to the bottom lane, Ned is going to be taking a lot of damage from that physical damage of the Quills. Skywrath Mage, not really great in lane versus the Bristleback when you've already fed him some levels by leaving him solo.
Oh, goodness, yeah. And I mean, Angel is just owning this lane, leading the board in CS. I mean, just manhandling the poor Centaur, who's kind of just sitting back behind his creeps going, you know, please don't quill me, bro.
Yeah, you know, so much of this is from the bottle. People sometimes neglect to think about a bottle as a pickup for an off laner.
He might get a he might have been able to commit to that. Sorry about that. Go ahead, man.
But yeah, it's just like the bottle can actually lead into you dominating your lane so much more, because Bristleback would not be winning this lane nearly as hard without that extra mana regen, because the problem is you commit to a certain amount of mana because it's so important. If you just spam Quill every once in a while, it doesn't do that much. But you need to be able to stack up those Quills, which means you're committing most, if not all, of your mana pool to do the damage that you do. And so by level 4 or 5, Centaur wouldn't be this low. But the jump in the middle, top lane actually, Jericho's going to be caught out by the arrow, and they're going to go for multiple ones. 40R with the double damage rune is going to go for Xander. Already, that magic shield is down, but Xander is low and completely surrounded. Double damage, and an Arcane Bolt hit will be enough to finish him off. And that's the power of an Ember Spirit right there, is being able to just dive into those heroes and get those early kills.
Yeah, I am impressed. Pain Gaming is doing exactly what they need to do here in the first 6.5 minutes of this game to make the Ember Spirit pick work. I mean, you're absolutely right when you said it during the draft. There is definitely a way that you can make that pick pay off in this match, but it's a very specific, there's some very specific things you have to do.
Klotz is going to be caught out. I think he's done for here. The Hoof Stomp actually goes out. That's because we don't actually have a secondary Hex. Shadow Shaman is level 3, so not level 4. If he was level 4, that was a death. But Angel also should have had better positioning there and not gotten hit by the Hoof Stomp, because all he needed to do was just keep in pace with Quills, and he would have gotten that kill.
Yeah, agreed. You think he needs a level in Snot?
Yes, I would definitely consider it when you go for the bottle build and you're dominating your lane. Yes, 100%. Go for the Snot. That is the best way to go. Just because you're dominating. If you're like playing a little bit more defensively or playing more of a farm game, sure. But you're actively fighting up against the Centaur. The goo gives you so much extra kill power, especially once you hit level 6, because that is really what takes up those Warpath takes so fast. If you look at it, Quills can only give you 3 stacks. Warpath at level 1 goes up to 5. So that means you require to have goo leveled in order to get those extra stacks in. And
once again, what I see happening is that these Union Gaming supports just not getting too much done in these early game rotations. Pretty little bit telegraphed. I like the idea that they're just going to rotate down here and take the tier 1 tower. But so far, once again, I feel like Pain getting a little bit more out of this landing phase. Although the gold lead is in favor of Union, and it's only going to go up with those towers. You see the push already starting to happen in this game. This is what I was concerned about with the Pain getting the lineup. You've done what you need to do to get something out of that Ember Spirit pick, but is it going to be enough?
Smoke rotation, and 40R is looking for a Pugna right now. Ben Haas is going to be fine. The 2 supports, if they just patiently wait here, they may be able to catch out somebody teleporting in, but it doesn't look like Union Gaming are going to allow that to happen. Instead, they're just going to 5-man into a tier 2 now, very early on. Death Prophet is not joining them because she doesn't have an exorcism anyway, and now they can go for Citadel. Leading with the concussive shot, follow-up silence, and the Fissure block. Doesn't matter which side it's on because 40R will be able to claim that kill. And even if they do take the tier 2, that was a pretty high-profile kill. That experience from that kill is going to be awesome. Stampede going off.
Stampede.
Mass teleports coming in. Klotz looking to be able to hit a hoof stomp. Actually catches Ben Haas there. And now going to clean up the ward real quickly. He's going to take a lot of damage in return. Moonlight Shadow will still protect him for the time being. He's going to go for Jericho. Already shackled up. Finished it off 1 for 1. That's going to be good enough. Fissure goes down as well. And now with 40R coming in from the side, look what kills he can get. Just Xander, as unfortunately that chains did not latch onto the other support who was teleporting himself away. Really could have been a secondary kill for him.
Perfect response here by Pain Gaming. They're able to get something done mid, come down and protect their tower, turn around with the timely use of Stampede. They're playing this very, very well. I still think Union Gaming has this game, honestly. I think this is still their game to win if they play this correctly. But I really like the responses that we've seen so far out of Pain. These guys are impressing me tonight as a team. I think that if they play like this, they can get some stuff done.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm actually still siding with Pain Gaming. I still like the Ember Spirit pickup, and I think he's doing just enough, just barely, to keep him in this game. He's a little bit low on CS, to be expected. He's gotten, unfortunately, 2 assists rather than 3 kills, but he's still doing just enough to keep himself in this game. And the fact that they stopped that tier 2, very important. But yeah, Union Gaming, it's all going to be determined in this next 5 minutes.
Right.
If the game stalls out a little bit, I would say that's to the favor of Pain. But I doubt Union Gaming. They've already displayed that they want to push super early
Good idea
on.
here on top. If Jericho's Shadow Shaman goes down, this is actually really, really big for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Anything that they can do to just delay this push here by a couple of minutes is so huge right now for exactly the reasons we've been saying.
4DR is going to be left to try and defend up against this Exorcism push. It's going to be difficult. They need some teleports in, possibly Stampede at front. Klotz is already low, though. And if they want to commit, it's going to have to be right now. Tier 1 tower falls. No teleports in. 4DR. And they just, if they're not going to go for the defense there, they needed to be able to aggressively push out some side lanes, which is what King RD is doing. But 4DR really was just sitting there kind of waiting for an opportunity that never showed itself.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the problem, though, right? So they've managed to protect their tier 2s. They're holding the line, is Pain Gaming. But these tier 1 towers are still worth money. And you already see the kind of mid-game items coming out on the side of Union Gaming before they're coming up for Pain. This Death Prophet's going to have her drum, right? Angel's Bristleback already has his hood completed. You're going to have that mech up on Benhas here in the next couple of minutes.
Oh, and look at Baga, though.
Okay. Oh,
he's got a full Blink Dagger already up. He is going straight for it. And on top of that, they just took a middle tier 1 and they're doing the perfect thing, which is not fighting Pain right now. They say, go ahead, if you want to commit something like an Exorcism or wards to be able to take down the tier 1 tower, you won't be able to fight the bottom lane, which we can just make a trade, tier 1 for tier 1. Now, the best response from Union Gaming at this point would be to go for tier 2. Right.
Absolutely. And they're going to go, that's the thing. I don't think you can afford to trade right now as Pain Gaming. I mean, maybe it is sort of just trying to hold off the bleeding for a little while, but I think you're going to end up trading 1 tower for 2, and you're doing that against a team with a Roche advantage as well.
We'll see what happens. This tier 2 will be falling. Tier 1 being cleaned up. Pain almost looking like they're going to keep going here and at least try and force some teleports. They sure as hell won't be able to take this tier 2, as it's just going to take way too long, and eventually there will be a response from Union Gaming. But if they can at least force Union Gaming on the defensive, it'll be a decent position for them to be in. As
they're giving up more damage than I thought here on this tier 2 tower, down to 50% health, and you know, Union Gaming looks to me to be kind of be deciding what they want to do. Now they need to respond to this down here. This is not something you can afford to do.
It seems like they don't want to actually just teleport 1 hero in for fear of being picked off, which is exactly what Pain are looking for right now. Team fight may not be as good. Now Pain are all kind of low here. Moonlight Shadow goes out, and sure enough, they force the rotation. Baga is sitting on the side here, but he's not going to initiate. The rest of his team is already backed out.
Yeah, it definitely is a little scary, right? To TP into a Mirana, especially. Interesting. I think Angel might have just finished. Okay, Angel might have just finished a pipe. Wow.
Yeah, very early pipe. Mech being picked up by the Pugna as well. We do have the initiation, though. The double melee initiators. The Blink Dagger on Centaur, the Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker.
Yeah, that's huge.
Ember Spirit is also going to be able to finish off his brawling items, which is phase boots as well as drums, before the next team fight, I think. So that is also another big pickup for them. And
but you are going to have the Roche to deal with, and the Aegis on probably the Pugna. And this is another thing that I was kind of concerned about, that you've got to factor that into the team fights. You were absolutely right to talk about the blink on Baga's Earthshaker. That I did not anticipate that happening. I did not see him getting that level of farm, especially with the arcane boots in this match, to have both of those items at 1430, and that gives them a chance in these engagements to hold off the pushes. Without that blink on the Earthshaker, I think that they would be very hard.
Arrow on Benhas. They could go for this one. Oh, the Echo Slam misses. Didn't blink in time, but what a hoof stomp. 5-man hoof stomp. Starstorm goes off. Benhas goes down. Fisher will interrupt some of that damage. Klotz actually gets swapped in. Ember Spirit not really able to do enough, and the power of both the pipe and the mech is the only reason that Union Gaming did not just get stomped there. On top of that, also the missed Echo Slam from Baga. Really dropped the ball.
You're being nice. That had nothing to do with the mic or the pipe. That had to do with the
fact that to be fair, if they didn't have the mech or the pipe still, that 5-man hoof stomp from the Centaur was really, really strong. They still could have recovered that fight, except for the fact that there's all that extra health from all that extra pipe and mech healing.
Yeah, but I mean, if they hit that double blink initiation combo, I mean, that's practically a 5.
Whoa, bottom lane, Citadel's gonna fall. He loses his Aegis.
Oh,
it's a bit unfortunate. Citadel.
First of all, why do you give the Aegis to the Death Prophet in this situation to begin with?
Yeah, not like the Pugna, who is susceptible to that kind of like burst damage. He's the mech holder as well. Like,
well, and the biggest single thing right about Death Prophet is that Exorcism ends when she dies, regardless of whether she has the Aegis or not. And yeah, the Pugna is the more vulnerable of the two heroes anyway. Now, Klotz might be in a spot of trouble here mid, but again, a nice hoof stomp.
And they get the magic missile, but he's already so far back they can't actually pursue. King RD throws out an arrow, hits Citadel, and they might actually go for this one. Ned is going to be able to slow down Citadel, and he's just a bit too fast. Ned can't go ahead and drop that. There's no way he can drop the ultimate there. So Pain do need to be careful, though, because there's a hasted Bristleback who's just picks it up in his bottle, nothing else. Pain, I like the way they're spreading out. They're looking for kills while also doing a lot of split pushing right now, which seems to be stalling up Union Gaming quite heavily.
Yeah, they really, you know, like we said in the draft, Union Gaming put their cards on the table very early, and Pain has responded to this well. Oh,
jump in, Citadel is potentially popped here. The Fisher's going to be able to catch him out, and that is going to be mega kill now for Baga as he finishes off that Death Prophet kill, and that is huge. Angel's going to be coming in with his haste rune.
Who is this guy? I mean, he's going to, even with the missed Echo Slam, if they win here, he will have one Pain both of these games. This is just incredible.
And look at this bottom push. King RT is actually pushing into tier 3s. Not that the damage he puts on tier 3s really means anything, because their split push is not really like the sort of thing that are like, oh, you're taking a tier 3, but we are also pushing in your base at the same time. So it's doubtful that this tier 3 damage will mean anything. It's just indicative. More of the map control, right? It's indicative of what Pain are doing correctly.
Exactly. That's kind of the thing. I don't care how much damage you put on the tier 3 tower. It says something that against an extreme push lineup at 17.5 minutes into this match, that there is damage on your tier 3. That's scary if you're Union Gaming. This is, you know, quite the opposite, right? They do damage to your tier 3s before you do any damage to theirs. That's really, really scary with this lineup composition from Union.
Yeah, and they had a teleport. They had like Death Prophet just do one wave and then teleport it up to top. And King RD was hanging around. He didn't actually fully back up at all because they were looking for a pickoff. If somebody tries and just goes ahead and sends one hero to push out that lane, they'll pick him off. And if not, they'll get some more damage on this tier 3. Now, though, they have to back themselves up. I can't believe they have already lit UG into the base like this with Serpent Wards as well as the Exorcism already down. They still need to get these heroes back. Baga's still farming up for some reason. We have 40R who's coming in through the back door here. Stampede's going to go out. Swap goes down. There goes the Skywrath Mage ultimate, doing a little bit of damage. Tier 3 already down. And Union Gaming are poised to be able to take an early Rax here. We do have an invisible 40R in the background waiting for Union Gaming to back up into him. If they can wait for this Exorcism to fade and get some sort of initiation off of this, it could be a really great fight for them, but they need a lot more. And with the teleports coming out, Arrow goes down. Angel, not going to be hit by that one, but it looks like they're just going to go for the one support. Jericho will die here. And now they're going to go for next Angel. Another Remnant jump in. No. Fisher actually lands, and this is a big kill. Angel is very, very tanky, but he will be going down when he's surrounded by 5 different heroes like this. And now they can actually push this top lane, which is very important. They need to keep this top lane pushed out because they gave in a very, very early tier 3.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit shocked that they let that tier 3 go down so easily, and 50% health now on your range racks practically. But yeah, the Pain got the response that they needed in from that fight. The first Battle Fury is already completed up on 40R's Ember. This was the big, I mean, that's the, look at that. Look at that. Okay, Ember Spirit gets his Battle Fury at the same time that your Death Prophet finishes her Yules. Now, granted, it's after the drum, but still, there are just a bunch of things like that that tell me how this game is going for Union, and it ain't good.
Yeah, King RD is actually going to be hit by that stun. Silence up as well, and the Stampede goes off. They force some teleports to this top lane. Now they need to focus on pushing out some of the other lanes because it's very obvious, or maybe are they going to reinitiate with Moonlight Shadow? I think that's the only reason you use Moonlight Shadow there. And that is risky because you know Union Gaming are just going to go for another 5-man push top. I like the idea of them initiating outside of the base, but this is not the right time to do so. Yeah.
And there is no reason that you try and fight 4v5 against this Union lineup right now. I mean, they still have this amazing amount of sustained physical damage with Death Prophet or Exorcism up with Bristleback with that Quill Spray spam.
Look at what they're doing. If they can somehow manage to kill the creep wave that Union Gaming are bringing with them right now, I'm not sure how they do that, but they're going to try and delay up some of the other creep waves that'll follow. The problem is, all it takes is one creep wave going uphill, and they won't be able to stop it. This is Union Gaming committing to a Rax. Jump in. Oh, what a hoof stomp. 2-man hoof stomp. They're going to try and pop the rest. They do finish off the Shadow Shaman. Wards go down, but they're not inside the base, and that's the important part. Citadel has his exorcism out, but he's already so low. He may have to go back. Baga actually goes for the initiation, almost finishing off the Fisher. The chains will tick out Citadel just in time. Now the swap. 40R will still be able to get himself away. Benha's going to be caught out by Klotz as he initiates in once again. And the buybacks are going to be well worth it, as Angel's going to be next up. He may be able to get a return kill. A lot of quill damage is going out. Angel's actually going to survive solely because Pain have to back themselves up. 40R gets a nice little chains. Jump in with Remnant. Arrow goes down.
No.
Misses Angel. 40R now fighting up against that. The most Angel could hope for is enough quills to get a hero heal, but can't even get that much. And pretty much a wipe there from the side of Union Gaming. They lose every single hero in the process of trying to push uphill. It costs them some buybacks on Pain, but well worth it as they keep their top racks alive for another 2 minutes.
I mean, you've given the Ember Spirit level 15 now. He's a good deal of he's a good ways into his next Battle Fury, assuming that's the route he chooses to go. Could just as easily go Crystallis here. I mean, you've got to be thinking as Union Gaming, we've pretty much got one more fight like that.
Yep.
If we do that again, this Ember is going to be big enough and is just going to crush us. We've got to go take Roche, and we've got to go try that again. And, I mean, literally, we can't screw it up. We can't hit 2 arrows. We can't have our Pugna just getting picked off almost for free like that. I mean, I thought they might be okay. They burst down Klotz's Centaur toward the beginning of the fight. But, boy, just big, big plays again coming out from the Pain Gaming side.
Yeah, I love the fact that they held on to early buybacks. That was so key to that fight. As Klotz's reinitiation after he originally jumped in and got that beautiful hoof stomp. Him jumping in a secondary time is what killed Benhaz's Pugna. Right. And now he's got a very important item. He may still be that suicidal hero, but he's going to do so much damage back to Union Gaming with that blade mail.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to make Pugna hate his life. And the other thing is, again, this DP is not necessarily where you would expect her to be in this point in the game, considering the lane matchups. I mean, Yule's Drum and the Ogre Club into her BKB, she is not that tanky, right? Not relative to what we've been seeing lately on this hero.
All right, Union Gaming going for one more of those death pushes. Pain Gaming are going to initiate outside the base. This is beautiful. Moonlight Shadow.
Yes.
What can they find? Baga is going to see a lot of heroes grouping up and waiting for that initiation. They're going to go in now. Stampede's going to go off soon, and look at how grouped up they are. Pipe is going to go off preemptively. They're going to go for Citadel first. Baga waiting for his initiation. Gets off of Fisher. Somebody stop Benhaz, who's already sapping away all the health away from that Centaur. Now he goes in, able to finish off Citadel. That's the perfect team fight right there. As he gets the perfect hero to kill, now 40R has to back himself away. They've won the team fight. They just need to make sure they don't lose too much, and 40R's haste rune will ensure he does get out. Baga could have had better Echo Slams there in that team fight. When I say better, I mean more multiple heroes, but I love the patience. He waited until Citadel was exposed and finished him off, and that's the most important hero in this team fight. Taking away that exorcism damage is what allows 40R to continue going, and now they also caught Angel.
Again, for the second straight time, they get the rebuttal kill, chasing Angel's Bristleback way up to the top part of the map. Those kills are so huge because he's the hero that needs to get his next big item up to increase their sustainability in these engagements. And you said it perfectly. I can't say enough about the play, the just heady play in these fights coming out from the Pain supports. Just great decision making, and I will count Klotz in that as well. I think you're absolutely right. You've been dead on. His decisions when to get in and when to get out of these last couple of fights on his Centaur have really helped them out. Now, I don't know that Painter's still going to be able to contest this Roche down here, and this could be kind of one more try for Union Gaming if they can get the Aegis here up on their Pugna.
Dire's top tower
Yeah, certainly. But Pain have already displayed that they actually are playing this. I've seen like top tier 1 teams not deal with pushes as well as Pain is doing right now. They're making all the right decisions now. This decision by Net to get a little too close to the Roshan being attempted by Union Gaming. Yeah, not so good.
Yeah, but I think that was, I could not have possibly put that sentiment better, that tactically, the way they are choosing to deal with this Union Gaming aggression is just about perfect. They've made some mistakes in these fights for sure. That's always going to happen, but just I shouldn't say strategically, really, is what I'm talking about here. The way that they've dealt with Union Gaming's aggression, the way that they've used the map, you can see Ember pressuring the tier 3 up here, has been just about perfect.
Yeah, and Klotz is also aggressively pushing in this bottom lane as well, as he's actually going to get a good amount of damage to this tier 3. Blinks himself off at the right time. But the way that I really love this is, I think the best way to describe, and I've been kind of thinking about this, the best way to describe dealing with these kind of push lineups is spending as much time focusing on farming, split pushing, and pickoffs as you can, and allow the enemy team to be able to take some towers, right? You kind of have to let that happen against such an overwhelmingly strong team fight and pushing presence. You have to abuse the fact that they're 5-manning in, and you have to let them do that to the most razor sharp margins before you go for that final defense. And even them giving up that tier 3 tower in the top lane was something that, while I may not have agreed with entirely, was still them tactically making the smartest decision which they could, which was wait for that team fight. Wait as long as you possibly can before you go and try and fight that, because if you try and fight it too early, you lose the fight, you lose a lot of ground, and you won't be able to recover. Whoa, there.
Might have a big fight here down bottom, but no, I think you called that absolutely perfectly yet again. I mean, the big thing, right, is it can be so hard to take trades against a pushing lineup like this, right? Because you're always kind of living on the edge. You're always kind of worried that yes, you can take a risk. You want to be able to get some material on their side of the map in exchange for the towers of yours that they're bringing down. But you lose one fight, you come in unevenly as a team, lose a 2v5 engagement, and all of a sudden you're giving up even more. And that's the thing that Pain have done so well, is not really fall prey to that 5-man death ball that comes with the big push.
And now Union Gaming still struggling to be able to find some sort of openings. They're going to go into the middle lane here, where the Ember Spirit, oh, this is going to be a perfect pickoff. If they can hold him in, shackle him in long enough, they need some extra disables. 40R is going to be able to make a remnant away up the cliff. Silence goes down on him. Citadel still trying to catch up, but doesn't look like they'll be able to get him. The Shadow Shaman was at the right place at the right time, but unfortunately there was no follow-up to be able to catch out that Ember Spirit with his very aggressive play.
It's not just that. This is what I was talking about, though, with losing those 2 engagements in the bot lane and giving up those rebuttal kills. Ember Spirit's level 17, okay? He is 4 levels ahead of the Pugna and the Death Prophet. He's just so hard for them to kill right now.
Yeah, Klotz even, they try and swap him up. In fact, they're going to use the Hex as well as the wards being committed just to be able to get this 1 kill. Pugna even committing a little bit extra. The attempt to teleport away is not going to work. Skywrath Mage has been caught. Tier 3 tower goes down in the bottom lane. Rags are exposed. Pain won't be able to commit to taking a building after that, but they still got a tier 3 in exchange for 2 of their heroes dying. They're also pushing in the top lane very rapidly, as Baga's just going to burst through a creep wave. Even though they got those 2 hero kills, Serpent Wards were committed. They lost a tier 3 tower, and they're still forcing their way to recover and try and deal with all this split push, which is a bad sign. It's more delayed action here for Pain Gaming to be able to farm up.
Exactly. Trades. As Union Gaming right now, you don't still want to be making trades at this point in the match. You want to be the ones completely forcing the action on your enemy's side of the map. You want to be the ones barreling down lanes. You know, inevitably you're going to be trading, even with an extreme push lineup, but you don't want to continue to be doing that. I mean, giving up material in your base as Union at this point is just so discouraging when you have the kind of lineup that they do, because you know, I mean, this clock is ticking, and it's ticking fast. They've got about 5 minutes, I would say, to win a pretty big fight before this Ember Spirit is just irretrievably out of control.
Yeah, and at this point, their tier 3s are so weak, they can no longer do that. Remember, like, early on, I was saying that tier 3 damage may not matter. Well, it's exposing, like, the fact that, like, Union Gaming should be taking these towers down, go for the the base pushes, and doing, like, taking Raxes in exchange for 200 damage on a tier 3. Yes. Right, and that's no longer the case. These tier 3s are getting so low after all of this constant split push. They even find Jericho on the side here. The bottom lane, once again, forced to teleport back. Their range racks getting lower and lower as King RD continues to lay down that pressure.
And this is what we've seen recently out of Matumbama on Fnatic, just setting up shop in front of the enemy base, and he doesn't ever have to leave at this point.
Oh, Baga's going to be potentially caught here. Nice use of both the Blink Dagger as well as the Force Staff. 40R will be able to protect him for the time being. Ben House is also going to go down in the bottom lane where they've already taken the range racks and will be taking the melee racks if Union Gaming do not form a response
Ben House
here.
doesn't have buyback. He has no buyback. I think they're in big trouble right now.
Honestly, I think this is over. Pain Gaming have to make a serious mistake because the thing is, Union Gaming, when you go for these push lineups, you're a 5-man lineup and you can't afford to deal with split push this heavily. Klotz is going to try and get himself away with the Stampede. The Serpent Ward Trap didn't actually land after the Yules, and he will be able to get himself out. 40R lays down a little bit of extra damage on this tier 3 and jumps himself away. Angel is even going to be taking a lot of damage there as they try and do a little bit of committal there. They're going to try and jump in. Silence on both of them. They need to be able to get a stun. And Xander, they didn't actually have the vision to stop that one.
That's fine, and that's the thing, though. I just watch this Ember Spirit, because 40R literally just doesn't have to leave right now. He can just pretty much stand there, and what are you gonna do?
Yeah, if he has the magic flame guard up, like, he soaks up so much damage from the side of Union Gaming because they can't actually, like, the Bristleback is a buildup of damage. So during that Hex timer and the Shackles, that may not be enough time for you. And Citadel can't commit an Exorcism for the kill. Ned is going to be potentially picked off.
Go down here, yeah. But that's fine. I mean, again, even with both supports of the... So... Right, their Earthshaker had to TP out, and Ned Skyrush just goes down there, and they're still not gonna be able to make 40R leave unless he really just decides, oh, okay, I'll just go and take a couple of farm, take a little bit of farm here back in your jungle. It's just so annoying at this point to be playing against, and you've done it to yourself, right? But it's so annoying to be playing against an Ember Spirit that's in this position because he's just, you know, he's just like that salesman that won't go away.
Mjolnir pickup by the Mirana is allowing him to push in this lane so quickly as well. It's just always at the front door of Union Gaming. Even as they try and go for a push at the top lane, they're going to end up giving a melee racks up. It seems like Union Gaming are giving up on this bottom lane in exchange for going for that final 5-man push at the top lane, which they needed to take so long ago, and they may not even get that at this point. Like, the best thing you could do probably is Baga, if he kills this creep wave. Ember Spirit can probably kill the creep wave before they even get uphill if he tries to position himself.
Look at the pings, though, also coming out from Ned. He's pinging that mid lane, right? Fine. If they're going to try and do this, rotate right over that mid lane and take another set of racks.
Pipe goes off. We'll be able to save Jericho, but at the same time, that mid tier 3 is getting lower and lower. Jericho actually tries to teleport back, but is held in by the chains. Now the Ember Spirit, with his constant damage, they may be able to get this melee racks, but it's going to be at a serious cost to their own life. BKB going to be activated. Citadel forced to back up and teleports away. Who is going to be making it? Who is not? Klotz is trying to catch up. Angel's just going to be the frontline hero. Looks like he's going to be losing his life. 40R continues to go for Citadel. Farther back, Bristleback is actually still alive here. Klotz has already committed the hoof stomp. They won't be able to get that kill. Farther up, though, Citadel has been caught by 40R, and they will be able to get that kill. So in the end, they trade melee racks and a tier 3 in exchange for a range racks and a melee. Definitely worth it for the side of Union Gaming, as they also got some hero kills as a cherry on top.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a little bit funny there while all that was happening. Zindrils used his swap to cancel the TP out from King RD, and I mean, King RD decided to play it safe, but I was kind of wondering there. I'm like, dude, you're level 11 Vengeful Spirit, and that Mirana's got a big old hammer with some lightning. You don't necessarily want to be picking that fight.
Yeah, he's got 6 levels on you. It's just you may think you're okay damage-wise as a Vengeful Spirit until the Mirana really shows off. I mean, she's almost hitting for 200 damage a hit now And that's before the Mjolnir starts procking, before the static charge starts going off as well. Right now, Pain, they have this bottom push constantly going in. That means they only have 2 lanes to worry about. And
they have complete map control, really. I mean, that's kind of the thing. They can dictate exactly where and when these engagements are going to occur. They can get this Roche easily if they want. And boy, think about it right now. An Aegis on your Ember Spirit is pretty much game over. I'm a little bit surprised that he went back to the top lane.
Yeah, well, considering the fact that 40R is, like, he's able to deal with this constant push of the top lane very easily, while Union Gaming, you can't really say the same for them. They don't have nearly the same kind of pushing power that 40R has now that he has both a Battle Fury as well as a Daedalus. That it essentially means that Rax they got in the top lane gives them nothing when it comes to control of the map. There's no real pressure being put on Pain because they'll just send the Ember Spirit up there, and he's a mobile enough hero that he can still be there for the team fights, as he's got a Remnant right here.
That's exactly right. I mean, you're on it this game. That you can't really say that any better. That, you know, a lot of people talk about, oh, Pugna's a pushing hero. Pugna's a pushing hero. Well, okay, he is, but there's a reason that he's also 10 and 24 past the 40-minute mark. At this point in the game, there are a lot of pushing heroes that are better than Pugna.
Miss Silence once again from Citadel. I mean, it's hard to hit that Ember Spirit. His Remnant is practically instant once he comes back down from that Eul's. So can't really blame him for missing it, but you got to come through in the clutch when you find those kind of pick-off opportunities. And if they had been able to grab the Ember Spirit there, they could have been their way back into some sort of opening into this game. I mean, it's not their way back into this game, but it maybe opens up a window that they can crawl through in order to unlock the door.
Honestly, I think they have a better chance of killing the other 4 heroes on Pain than they do 40R's Ember Spirit at this point. And that's what I think they should do. I think they should force this fight right here.
Well, let's see whether or not they can. They've got Angel already taking a lot of damage. Arrow is already down to half health here. And with that swap, they're going to be able to save for the time being. Fisher on 2. Ned is going to be caught out by the Serpent Wards. And ooh, look at that damage from that Sleight of Fist. Farther up, we do have Citadel is trying to chase down Ned. Is going to be able to catch him out here. A lot of damage is going to be coming in. And might just be able to finish him off here. Echo Slam goes off. Citadel still gets him with the Ghost. Farther down, King RD puts off the BKB, is actually going to turn and fight this one as he realized Angel is so low, so is Jericho. Leaps in, finishes off one. 40R is going to chase down the other one. Jakiro actually manages to blink himself away. And the other, Venhaus, actually teleported himself out as well. So that was an okay fight for Union Gaming. Exorcism is down, though. And that's the problem, is that 40R is always ready to fight. And Citadel is so dependent on that Exorcism timing.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. I was talking a few minutes ago about Zindril's trying to pick a fight with King RD. Well, King RD's like, okay, you guys want to start doing this? I mean, I'm just trying to TP out here. I'm just trying to get back to my base. You guys want to keep picking a fight? That's fine. I mean, and she just turned and just about killed their entire team. That ended up working out for Union Gaming, and that was a fight that is going to keep them in the game for another couple of minutes here. I think that they had to force that. But again, you need to do that at least 1 and probably 2 more times. And if ever this Ember Spirit gets his hands on an Aegis and a cheese, I think you can forget about it.
Yeah, even just a second Battle Fury is so much damage that, I mean, we saw the Sleight of Fist really going to work there earlier in the river. Just one Sleight of Fist was just doing chunks of everybody's HP. Second Battle Fury it just demolishes this 5-man lineup where they have to be grouped up together in order to make a team fight work. Ember Spirit loves that going into late game when he finally has physical damage items.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think you can make an argument for a second Daedalus as well as a second Battle Fury. Sure. I don't think it really matters. The point being that one more damage item here and 40R is going to be nigh unbeatable.
Smoke up here from Union Gaming. They gotta force a fight. They gotta get some sort of 5-man engagement and hopefully leading with the pickoff on the Ember Spirit, but it doesn't look like they're going to be finding it as, again, 40R, the split push possibilities. He just deals with the top lane real quickly with a couple Sleight of Fists, and he's got a Remnant to be able to jump back to in this mid lane if a fight does occur.
Klotz? Yeah, I mean, okay, there you go. They're going to get a pickoff here, and this is a big kill for them for sure.
Yeah, they needed a kill like this one. Centaur is, I mean, it's not one of the split pushers, which is unfortunate, but he is at least a core.
Yeah, it's whatever you can get at this point, and that I really feel like the sheep stick by Pugna is desperation, right? That's not necessarily the build that you're looking to go in this match, but you have to have some prayer of controlling the Ember Spirit. Oh, narrowly dodged arrow there. King RD has really picked up his play since the beginning of this match.
Citadel is just running into these heroes, trying to find an opening. Now the blast actually gonna come in. 40R with the double damage rune is sitting on the side, slowly but surely just abusing this cliff advantage. Jericho will eventually go down. Swap is actually going to be used there, and 40R gets a little bit extra damage with the ancient stacking. He does a huge amount of damage to Xander. Now Citadel will actually go into the Roshan pit, kind of desperate here to make use of this exorcism, but he's getting lower and lower as constant sleight of fist is bringing him down, and Pain Gaming are just simply keeping their distance from Union Gaming and utilizing that sleight of fist as only Ember Spirit can. I mean, this is the only kind of team fight you can actually see where this poking, prodding action works so damn well, especially against the team of Union Gaming who need full committal.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a joke about poking, prodding action, but the game is exciting, my friends. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing that right now Pain know that they're in a position where all they need to do is avoid making a mistake, because eventually, just as you saw happen right there, Union Gaming are going to have to go back to their base. And when they go back to their base, it's a free Roshan, it's a free Aegis on your Ember Spirit. He can, if he really wants to YOLO it, buy out right now. I mean, you know, come on. Rapier, you're a wussy. No, okay. He's going to be sane. He's going to get that second Daedalus, and I think that is the beginning of the end with the Aegis and the cheese. I mean, you know, I really, again, though, can't say enough about the supports out of Pain. You know, you look at Ned's Skywrath with the 15 assists. You look at Baga's Earthshaker with 7 kills and 11 assists. Again, in on 18 out of his team's 25 kills. Tied with King RD's Mirana here for the most on the squad. They have really had a huge impact on this series.
Yeah, I mean, Ember Spirit's doing a great job in these team fights, but what he's doing is honestly expected, right? It's just the way this game is supposed to play out from here on out, is you just poke and prod them in these team fights. You don't take any full-on commitments. The tough part of this game was surviving through that first 20 minutes. Now everything else, it's just gravy. And as long as 40R and the rest of Pain don't screw anything up, they've got this in the bag.
No, I mean, this is kind of like, you know how I like my stats, but this is why I end up having to watch so many hours freaking watching replays, because at the end of this game, it's going to look like 40R just went absolutely ham on this Ember Spirit. And he did. I mean, he had a great Ember Spirit game, but the story of the game is not the Ember. Not at all. I mean, and that's, again, the one thing I feel like if I get one problem solved in the next year, I want to be able to have a better statistical metric for support play, because right now, plays like Baga has made in this match and like Ned has made in this match just don't necessarily show up like they should when you look at the numbers.
Yeah, and another thing being that, like, Ember Spirit is drawing all the attention, but King RD has done an excellent job constantly pushing in that bottom lane and never being caught. He hasn't died yet.
Yeah. And he really, it's funny too, because he had kind of a few misplays in the early game and has just tightened it up dramatically here in the late game. He's hit some big arrows in these team fights, as well as been huge in the split pushing game.
So the push is going to come in. The bottom lane is going to naturally push out. Both the top as well as the middle lanes are going to be pushed in by the actual Pain heroes, and they're going to lead themselves moderately split here. And they're also going to take away every semblance of map control here for Union Gaming, as the gem picked up by the Skywrath Mage now makes Union Gaming's map very, very dark.
Yeah, and I think I will take just a tiny bit of issue. It's a nice value, cost-effective item. The DP has finished up her Rod of Atos. Maybe it's just pie in the sky at this point, but you sure do wish that you had an AC on that team. Any kind of armor would be very, very helpful right now, although I guess if you bunch up, it doesn't really matter against the cleave anyway.
Yeah, I would think maybe the Shivas for her, and then like Angel to go for the AC. But you're right; these are like late game items that they simply could not afford.
It's kind of pie in the sky. I mean, the Atos is an excellent value item, and the big thing is you've got to have the HP to live through the sleight of fist spam in the first place. So I mean, it's hard to argue. I don't think Union have really played this all that badly. They just didn't get done what they needed to get done in the mid game.
Yeah. Now range racks are going to go down, and King RT will be able to escape as Stampede goes off, and the little Ram is going to be able to jump himself out of this. 40R almost able to finish off Jericho. Not quite enough damage, and Angel like face-to-face up against that Mirana, the Desolator tearing him a new one. The Rod of Atos will come into play here. Klotz soaking up a lot of damage with that Blade Mail, returning a lot to Xander, which will be finished off with a quick little Daedalus proc from 40R. And now he's going to go in and do even more. He's going to be stunned up through the Moonlight Shadow. They do have the vision to be able to see him. 40R is actually getting quite low here, and King RT is actually going to be the first death of his whole entire game. 40R is in the back lines. They need to be able to stun him down, but this Fisher block is preventing both Angel and Benhaz to get on him. They need to be able to get a little bit of extra life steal, but it's still not enough. He gets himself out of the base, and now the reinitiation here. Klotz comes in with the Blade Mail, doing a lot of damage back to everybody there with both the return and the Blade Mail. He does die, but the immediate buyback plus the fact that these range racks and the melee racks is actually so damn low, they just need a slight little push. And if it isn't a full-on committal just to be able to finish off the racks, it's this constant push in from the other two lanes, which has already finished off one tier 4 and is soon going to take down a second tier 4.
Are you serious? Are you serious with the Scythe of Vice on Baga here?
Oof.
Goodness gracious.
That's a big pickup. Union Gaming now about to lose this battle of attrition. They're going to go in for one last team fight. Angel gets force-staffed and swapped, and a second force-staff as well, just to try and keep him alive. But it looks like Pain are going to start focusing on these racks as Benhaz and Citadel trying to lay in the damage to Klotz, but he's just slowly but surely swinging on this melee racks. Meanwhile, King RT will finish off the range racks. Echo Slam goes down on 3, wipes out 2, and a third goes down as well. Baga with the nice finishing touch to this game as Pain Gaming beat Union Gaming 2-0, the Dota 2 Champions League American Division.
Just a beautiful series coming out through Pain. And like I said at the very beginning, haven't seen as much of them as I've seen from some of the other South American teams. Didn't really know fully what to expect coming into this series, but boy, did they deliver. Can't say enough about their support play. I mean, if you look at their lineup in this match, right, one of the big things that you want to have to counter a pushing lineup is you want to have mobility. And other than necessarily the Ember Spirit, I guess the Mirana has their leap. You don't necessarily look at their lineup and say, oh, that's a lot of mobility. Just the Fisher blocks by Baga, getting them in and out of these fights. I mean, you saw one close to the very end. That in and of itself was a big part of his contribution. They definitely earned these 2 wins. I don't even think Union Gaming played that badly in these 2 games. I think Pain knew exactly what they had to do to win both of these games, and they did it. So hats off to them, and a great couple of games here tonight.
Yep, great tactical play from Pain Gaming. That was one of the most surprising things to me, is that they didn't just manage to out-execute Union Gaming, but they came in with very smart plans in both Game 1 and Game 2, and will now sit very happy at 3-1 in the Dota 2 Champions League. They now sitting at 2nd or 3rd, depending on how you want to look at this. Sneaky Nyx Assassins are 4-2. Obviously, again, Navi US sitting at 7-1. Thanks to a very, very good start by them. They still have to be playing up. They actually did play Pain already. Navi US actually beat them 2-0, so Pain unlikely to be able to really upset Navi US. Might be able to upset Sneaky Nyx Assassins, though, as that is going to be our next match in 3 days' time, is when the Dota 2 Champions League returns for the American Division, at least. And for now, guys, we're actually going to be calling it a night. We're going to be back up on Join Dota Red in just 5 hours with Toby casting some Chinese Dota, as well as Join Dota Blue with Payskip casting, I believe, the Cinecup as well. But Nahaz, you got any last words about this series or any shoutouts?
Oh, man, thanks to our viewers for joining us. And you guys are amazing. I mean, you want to talk about a full schedule, be back in 5 hours. All right. Who needs sleep, man? Let's cast some Dota. That's awesome. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in, and we will see you soon.
All right, guys. At Nahaz Dota for him, at Dota Capitalist for me, and Joined Red again, 5 hours time.